Nobody warns you that kitchen frustration rarely comes only from a lack of space, truly. It comes quietly from tiny, repeated movements that nobody ever pauses to question daily, really. A wiped counter, a moved toaster, a shifted rack, none of it feels heavy alone. But stacked together every single evening, those tiny movements slowly drain your entire patience simply. What if the fix was never a renovation, but simply reassigning what each space does? Stick around, because these 15 ideas will change how you look at your kitchen, clearly. Two kitchens can share the exact same size and still feel completely different somehow now. In one kitchen, the cutting board fights for space while the dish rack drips today. You shift the toaster, wipe the water, then finally start chopping vegetables for dinner here. In the second kitchen, dishes dry directly above the sink instead of soaking counters again. Knives sit exactly where your hand reaches, and drawers hold two levels, not one, still. The real difference was never square footage, it was how many jobs a space performs. A kitchen becomes exhausting the moment every single surface only handles one lonely task, truly. The easiest kitchens rarely reserve a permanent spot for something that lasts only minutes, quietly. A sink can hold more than water alone. A wall can hold more than paint. A deep drawer never needs to waste the air above one thin, shallow layer, finally. Today, we uncover 15 quiet systems borrowed from clever Japanese kitchen design and thinking, simply. You will not need every single one, only the logic hiding beneath each simple idea. This is about using the space you already own instead of buying something bigger, honestly. It is about cutting the steps you take while preparing dinner every single evening, daily. It is about ending each meal without 5 unfinished tasks scattered quietly behind you, always. Let us start with the space most kitchens waste the most, hidden in plain sight. Look at your sink right now. For most of the day, it sits completely empty. Some clever designs slide a flat wooden panel directly across the top of it, clearly. Suddenly, that dead space becomes a place to chop vegetables, stage bowls, hold ingredients fully. Slide the panel aside the moment you need water, then slide it right back, really. Some sinks even add sliding rails, so baskets glide above the water draining below now. You wash vegetables on one level, while water quietly drains through the level beneath, today. That space already existed. The cover simply gave it a second job to perform here. Even a plain cutting board resting across the sink can recreate the same effect again. But a clean counter means little if the dish rack keeps stealing that same space. Picture this. You finish rinsing vegetables and now need somewhere to rest the board still. The dish rack sits there dripping, forcing you to move it before you continue, truly. You nudge it aside, wipe the puddle, set the board down, then push it back. None of those steps feels difficult, yet none of them counted as actual cooking, quietly. Many Japanese kitchens hang the drying rack directly above the sink instead of beside it. Water falls straight into the drain instead of pooling across your cutting surface again, finally. Some racks roll open only when needed, folding flat once every dish turns dry, simply. The idea stays simple. Wet things should always remain inside their designated wet zone, honestly. When a wet bowl travels across the counter, it quietly becomes another cleaning job daily. Try moving your rack closer to the sink and notice what changes within days, always. You will likely stop wiping that same section of counter as often as before, clearly. Once water stays contained, the actual shape of your sink starts to matter more fully. A shallow sink cannot hold a large pot without tilting water over its edge, really. Now, you're not just washing the pot, you're wiping the whole counter now. Wider, deeper sinks are shaped around the real physical movements involved in daily cooking today. Ask yourself what the single largest item you wash looks like on a normal day. Does it fit comfortably, or does it force your hand into an awkward angle here? That one question matters more than any elegant sink shape you saw in photos again. Now think about the narrow gaps you no longer even notice inside your kitchen still. The sliver beside the fridge, the gap next to the dishwasher, the leftover inch, truly. Most homes let dust collect there instead of treating it as usable floor space quietly. A narrow pull-out cabinet can turn that gap into storage for oil and spices, finally. Closed, it looks like a slim panel, but opened, everything faces you at once, simply. Nothing hides at the back the way it always does inside a deep cabinet, honestly. You will never remove 3 items just to reach the fourth one behind them daily. Renters can copy this using a slim, rolling cart dedicated to one clear category always. Without a clear category in mind, that gap simply becomes another narrow junk drawer instead. There is a space even easier to overlook than the gap beside your kitchen sink now. Some designs hide a tiny compartment there for a sponge, clips, or small scissors today. This sounds tiny until you actually watch how your own wet hands move daily here. Standing at the sink, needing a sponge stored 2 steps away wastes real motion again. When it sits directly in front of you, the task takes almost no effort still. This is storage built around the exact moment of use, not a broad category truly. Ask where your hand actually is the instant you need one specific small tool, quietly. A tiny tray inside the cabinet door beneath your sink can copy this idea, finally. Keep only 3 or 4 items there, the ones you genuinely reach for daily, simply. Sometimes the answer is not more storage, but using height you already fully own, honestly. A deep drawer often holds items sitting at the bottom while air fills above daily. Sliding trays or lifted baskets can add a whole second level inside a drawer always. Shorter items sit up top, taller pots and bottles remain safely resting down below clearly. You reach every layer without stacking one item awkwardly on top of another one fully. Start with a single drawer, group items by height, then check the empty air, really. A simple raised tray might be all it takes to create a brand new level. Good storage never tries to cram in more. It simply makes retrieval feel effortless now. These first systems all reclaim space that already existed but lacked a clear purpose today. But reclaiming counters means nothing once water, waste, and grease leave their proper zones here. A truly low-maintenance kitchen keeps mess contained instead of chasing it endlessly later again. Picture peeling an onion beside the sink, while the trash sits far across the room. You carry the scraps across the floor, one piece falls, water follows right behind still. One short walk just created 3 brand new tasks you never planned to handle, truly. Some kitchens place waste bins directly beneath the exact spot where waste is created, quietly. Vegetable scraps drop the moment they leave the board, nothing waits around for later, finally. Packaging goes straight into its bin instead of piling up for some future sort, simply. A small bin below your prep area works only if the location truly makes sense. If the bin sits too far away, you will always delay dealing with the mess. Water behaves the same way once your faucet stops giving you real, useful control, honestly. A stream too strong splashes across the wall. A stream too weak wastes time daily. When your hands are covered in flour, even the handle becomes annoying to touch, always. Some faucets switch between a focused stream and a wide spray in one motion, clearly. Touch-free controls and built-in filters turn the faucet into an actual tool, fully. Watch which movements send water flying outside the basin during your normal daily routine, really. Sometimes the fix is only adjusting height, pressure, or swapping a single spray head now. Once water stays inside the sink, the wall behind your stove becomes the boundary today. Most people choose a backsplash purely for color, ignoring how grease actually behaves there here. Grout lines and rough textures trap grease, then dust sticks and hardens over time again. Smooth wall panels wipe clean in one single pass instead of several frustrated attempts. Still, some smooth materials even hold magnetic hooks without you ever drilling a single hole, truly. Keep only your daily tools on that wall. Everything else belongs safely inside cabinets quietly. If wiping one grease mark means removing 5 hanging tools, the system has failed, finally. The most tiring part of cooking rarely feels like one giant, overwhelming cleaning job, simply. It is dozens of tiny traces scattered everywhere, a towel here, a splash there, honestly. When every trace stays close to where it happened, cleanup stops feeling like inspection, daily. Smoke follows the exact same pattern, quietly spreading the moment nobody happens to notice, always. Many people avoid the highest hood setting simply because the noise feels too disruptive, clearly. Quieter hoods that adjust automatically to heat make people far more willing to use them. Some models keep running briefly after cooking ends, clearing smoke long after you leave, fully. A tool only works if using it feels easy enough that you actually bother, really. Even without a new hood, notice whether you turn yours on before smoke appears, now. Turning it on early beats chasing smells after they have filled the entire room, today. Even contained mess still creates friction the moment you simply open a cabinet door, here. In a narrow kitchen, one open door can block the drawer sitting right beside, again. Sliding or retracting doors disappear sideways instead of swinging outward into your walking space, still. This matters most for cabinets that stay open for more than a few seconds, truly. Sliding tracks need occasional cleaning, and you lose the full view all at once, quietly. Ask whose path that door blocks every single time someone swings it fully open, finally. If it blocks your walkway daily, the layout is demanding movements you never truly needed. These systems all share one goal: keeping consequences close to where they actually start, simply. Waste disappears immediately, water and grease stay contained, and tools remain within easy reach, honestly. The lesson is not cleaning faster, it is preventing new tasks from ever forming, daily. Once your counter clears up, a new question naturally appears about every single appliance, always. Does this machine earn the space it occupies during every hour it sits unused? Clearly. A convenient appliance must justify its space long after its actual job is finished, fully. Look at everything crowning your counter: a toaster, a fryer, maybe an unused steamer, really. None of these tools is useless. The problem starts when every task needs one, now. Separate machines means separate cords, separate storage, and separate cleaning routines, piling up fast today. Some appliances now combine several roles instead of demanding a dedicated machine for each, here. A microwave that also steams, broils, and convection cooks replaces 3 separate machines entirely, again. It will not replace a full oven if you regularly bake several trays together, still. But for smaller portions, it can genuinely erase the need for extra countertop machines, truly. A machine with 12 functions still behaves like one if you only reheat food quietly. Before buying anything new, check whether it actually simplifies the 5 meals you cook, finally. A function only matters if it removes a real step, tool, or cleaning task, simply. Not every useful appliance needs several functions. Sometimes doing one thing perfectly is enough, honestly. Rice cooked on a stovetop demands constant attention, or it quickly boils over instantly, daily. Cook it too long and the bottom turns dry, stuck, and hard to clean, always. When family members eat at different times, perfectly timed rice quickly turns cold and stale. Many rice cookers hold rice at a safe serving temperature for several patient hours, clearly. You stop organizing dinner entirely around the exact moment your rice finishes cooking perfectly, fully. It handles a sequence of tiny decisions so your mind never has to track them. A tool that removes small decisions often matters more than one packed with features, really. If your household rarely eats rice, an ordinary pot still makes far more sense now. The same logic explains why insulated hot water dispensers matter in many busy homes today. Boiling a kettle repeatedly throughout the day becomes its own small, recurring daily chore here. A dispenser keeps water ready at a chosen temperature without restarting the whole process again. For a single occasional cup, a normal kettle remains the more sensible, simple choice still. The real value is readiness, never repeating the same routine from a cold start, truly. The final appliance uses space already built into your stove instead of the counter, quietly. A small pull-out compartment beneath the burners grills fish, bread, or small vegetables, finally. Heating a giant oven for 2 pieces of fish wastes far more needed energy, simply. A smaller chamber heats faster, sits closer to the food, and disappears when unused, honestly. The real lesson is matching appliance size to the actual size of the task daily. Every one of these appliances answers the same simple, honest, practical, underlying daily question, always. Is your kitchen forcing you to use tools that are too large or demanding, clearly? Good design never pushes small tasks toward the end of an already tiring day fully. It guides water toward the right place before it ever reaches your bare floor, really. It lets waste disappear the instant it forms instead of piling up somewhere later now. It keeps tools waiting exactly where your hand expects to find them every time. Today, it hands your counter back the moment any single small task finally gets finished here. You never need to fully copy a Japanese kitchen to feel the same difference again. You only need to notice which single movement repeats itself inside your home every day. Tonight, choose only one small routine, maybe rinsing vegetables or handling kitchen waste bins, truly. Do not attempt to fix your entire kitchen inside one single, overwhelming, exhausting evening, quietly. Instead, quietly follow that one task, step by step, from beginning to its end, finally. Count how many times you walk, how many handles you touch without thinking twice, simply. Notice exactly where that task leaves water, waste, or a forgotten appliance behind you, honestly. Then remove just one single unnecessary movement hiding somewhere inside that daily routine tonight, daily. Move the bin closer, shift the rack, or store one appliance out of sight always. Give that single change an honest week before you add anything else on top, clearly. A kitchen that stays easy rarely comes from one dramatic, expensive, sudden renovation project fully. It comes from small tasks finally ending without leaving traces for you to handle, really. Most people wait for a full renovation before they fix even one annoying habit, actually. But comfort rarely waits for permission. It simply starts the moment you finally decide today. You do not need a bigger kitchen. You need one that finally works with you. Every wasted step you remove today becomes an hour you quietly reclaim across a year. Small, deliberate changes always compound faster than most people expect once they begin trying quietly. So pick one habit tonight and let it prove this idea before touching anything else. If this helped you see your own kitchen differently, that alone was worth the time. Share it with someone who complains about their kitchen but never questions the actual layout. Real comfort is rarely loud. It shows up as one less thing to think about. And that quiet ease is exactly what every one of these 15 systems quietly delivers.